Have you ever watched someone at work or in your friend group go from replying instantly to suddenly going quiet for days, right when everything seems busiest? And today we're looking at why this happens. At first, it barely registers. A coworker who used to joke in meetings keeps their camera off. A friend who always confirms weekend plans says, "I'll see how I'm feeling," and then never follows up. There's no argument, no explanation, just space where connection used to be. And in American life, where being reachable is almost a social duty, that silence feels uncomfortable. People tend to think that, when someone pulls away like this, it's a reaction to something specific, like a teammate who stops responding on Slack after a rough performance review, and everyone assumes they're upset or being passive-aggressive. We're trained to read silence as meaning. If someone isn't showing up, we assume they're sending a message. The common misunderstanding is that withdrawal is about other people. When someone disappears, we personalize it. We replay conversations. We scan for mistakes. Think about seeing a friend go quiet in the group chat, but still like a post on Instagram. It suddenly feels selective, even intentional. In a culture where social presence is visible and constant, absence feels loud. The truth is, a lot of disappearing has nothing to do with anyone else. Like a renter who stops answering texts after their landlord emails about a rent increase the same week their car needs repairs and work deadlines pile up. Nothing dramatic happened with friends. Life just filled up all at once. What looks like distance is often compression, someone folding inward because there's no space left. There's a very specific moment many people recognize. It's late, maybe 11:30 p.m. You're sitting on the edge of your bed in a small apartment, phone in hand. You see the unread messages, people you like, people you mean to respond to, and instead of replying, you put the phone face down. Not because you don't care, but because you genuinely can't hold one more thing. That's the moment withdrawal starts. From a scientific perspective, overwhelm pushes the nervous system into narrowing mode, like someone in a noisy open-plan office putting on noise-cancelling headphones and staring at their screen just to get through the afternoon. When demands stack up, the system looks for the fastest way to reduce input. Social interaction, even positive interaction, becomes optional noise. Science suggests the brain conserves energy by prioritizing what feels immediately necessary. Like a parent who disappears from group texts during the first chaotic week of school, because between pickup lines, permission slips, dinner and work emails, something has to drop. Social responsiveness often becomes the first thing to go, not because it matters less, but because it's flexible. This shows up everywhere in everyday American life. A young professional quietly declines happy hour invites during promotion season, knowing one wrong move could cost momentum. A college student living with roommates goes silent mid-semester, juggling classes, part-time work, and anxiety about student loans. A neighbor who used to wave every morning now barely looks up because evenings are spent caring for an aging parent after work. None of this is about rejection. It's about capacity. People tend to think that withdrawal is avoidance, like when someone stops showing up to pick up basketball at the local gym and people joke that they fell off. But often that person is managing double shifts, physical pain, or exhaustion they don't know how to explain. Silence becomes easier than context. There is a balance here. Pulling back can be protective. It's how people avoid snapping at coworkers, missing deadlines, or breaking down completely. In a culture that rewards constant availability, choosing temporary quiet can be an act of self-preservation. Sometimes it's the only way to stay functional. But the limits are real. In American workplaces, silence can quietly cost opportunities. Missed visibility during review cycles, fewer stretch assignments, managers assuming disengagement. Socially, friends may stop inviting you, not out of spite, but because they don't want to bother you. Over time, the gap widens, even though no one meant for it to. What often goes unseen is that many people who withdraw want to explain themselves. They just don't have the energy. Imagine coming home after a long commute, reheating leftovers, opening your laptop to just check one thing, and realizing it's already 10 p.m. Even typing "I'm overwhelmed" feels like another obligation. So nothing gets sent. The unexpected truth is that withdrawal isn't coldness, it's fullness. Full schedules, full minds, full nervous systems. In a society built around constant input and quick responses, pulling back is sometimes the only coping tool people have. Some people externalize stress, others compress it. So when someone disappears for a while, it may help to hold a wider frame. Not to excuse everything, not to ignore your own feelings, but to remember that behavior often reflects capacity, not character. We're all moving through packed calendars, endless notifications, and quiet pressure, just with different thresholds. That realization changes how silence feels. It turns "they don't care" into "they might be at their limit." And it shapes how we reconnect when people come back, or how we recognize the signs before we quietly disappear ourselves. Have you ever looked at your phone, seen the messages waiting, and decided you just couldn't open them yet? If these everyday patterns feel familiar, you're welcome to subscribe for more conversations like this. There are a few more patterns like this, and I'm always curious which parts people recognize in themselves.